Dear learners, I am Dr. Shweta Tripathi, Assistant Professor in Mechanical Engineering, SOET, IGNOU, New Delhi. I welcome you all in the MOOCs of Energy Resources and Conversion Process. In the previous module, we have discussed the energy audit and we came to know that how important is energy conservation. How to do this energy conservation, we will discuss it in this module, which is energy conservation. The outcomes of this module is you will get the knowledge of energy conservation, you will be able to identify the energy conservation measures, and you will be able to apply these techniques in any of the industry you could visit. Energy, as we know, it is a basic requirement for economic development of any nation. India is a developing country and every sector of our economy like agriculture, industry, transport, commercial and domestic needs adequate amount of energy. The consumption of energy in all forms has been steadily rising all over the country. This growing consumption of energy has also resulted in a strong dependence on fossil fuels such as coal, oil and gas. Rising prices of oil and gas and potential shortage in future have led to concerns about the security of energy supply. Increased use of fossil fuels also causes environmental problems both locally and globally. We urgently need to develop a sustainable path of energy development and use. Promotion of energy conservation and increased use of renewable energy sources are the only solutions to these problems. The gap between demand and supply is very wide and is increasing day by day. The same is true for coal and petroleum products as well. One of the important reasons for rising gap between demand and supply is the high specific consumption, that is the energy consumption per unit of the production. If we see our and steel industry, the specific energy consumption of India is 25.5 to 34.2 gigajoule per ton, and for world it is 16.5 to 18.5 gigajoule per ton. For cement it is 3 to 4 gigajoule per ton for India and 2.9 to 3 tons worldwide. Similarly, it is for the fertilizers, aluminium and sugar as well. The solution of this problem lies in energy conservation and energy substitution. Energy conservation assures the optimum use of available energy sources, and it is a practical approach to reduce demand-supply gap. As far as energy substitution is concerned, India is blessed with a variety of renewable energy sources, the main source being biomass, biogas, sun, wind and hydropower. Municipal and industrial waste can also be useful sources of energy, but they are basically different forms of biomass and is considered under that category. The opportunities of energy conservation exist everywhere. Wherever energy is being used, wherever there is consumption of energy, there we could find some opportunity to conserve or save energy. The identification of equipment and services where energy conservation is possible, the connected measures and related techno-economic analysis appears later. If we talk about the findings of the preliminary energy audit of a printing press, we could see the air conditioning of working rooms needed careful attention because it appeared somewhat wasteful. The installation of air curtains was likely to reduce infiltration losses. Use of a heat pipe for cooling incoming fresh air could lead to energy saving. The efficiency of the cooling tower could be improved by replacing the existing fan with a FRP fan and lower HP motor. For certain blowers of air washer units, the driving motors were kept inside the cooled air path, adding unnecessary heating load. The motor should be kept outside the rooms. The lighting arrangement in the main hall where printing is going on need review, because there is a lot of scope for energy saving in view of developments in the area of efficient libraries. There should be daylighting arrangement. A lot of electrical energy could be saved by making use of energy saver with fluorescent lamps. The existing use of boiler could be considerably reduced by suitably augmenting the number of solar water heating panels. And there should be a provision of periodic flue gas analysis or control or fine-tuning of primary air for combustion. These all need proper measuring systems. A better use of the flue gas going out of the chimney should possibly get a way of heat recovery. If we go for the measurement, we will see that the temperature of flue gas is about 330 degrees centigrade. We could reuse it. We could recover the heat of these flue gas. A proper control of total dissolved solid in boiler water could also lead to better heat transfer efficiency and hence higher overall boiler efficiency. The wastage recovered from the printing ink had an energy potential that could be exploited. So these are all measures that we could do in a printing press. So like this, we could identify these measures in any kind of the industry. So what are these measures? How we have to identify them? We will discuss it. You are very much aware that energy can be converted from one form to another. We have also learned that the rate of doing work is called power. We can say that energy consumption is power. So total energy consumed in any activity is the energy required for that particular activity and could be the intensity of that, could be called as the intensity of that activity. Then it is the energy required to do that task once. If we take an example, suppose we need 2 units of electricity to make 5 cups of tea. So what you need tea. Suppose if you need this tea for 10 times a day. So the activity is what? You need 5 cups of tea, and frequency is what? You need it 10 times a day. So the energy consumption for this activity will be how much units? 5 cups need 2 units and you need tea 10 times, so it will be the energy consumption for this activity will be 20 units per day. Now if we see that there are 2 rectangles, each of same area and hence same energy consumption. What we will observe? In case A, the frequency is high with low intensity, and in case B, frequency is low with high intensity. All efforts of energy conservation are directed towards these factors. You can immediately see that if we are able to reduce the size of these rectangles, which are representing the total energy used, it is equivalent to energy conservation. If we speak broadly, we can think of 2 approaches for achieving this. First is use energy efficiently by using energy efficient devices. Which kind of energy efficient devices we are using? We are using CFL as compared to incandescent bulbs. We are going for even LEDs. We are using efficient motor as compared to traditional motors. And the second one is adopt housekeeping measures. For example, using energy as and when needed. There is no use of leaving light and fans switched on in a room where no one is present. So two methodologies are there, or two approaches are there. One is to use energy efficiently by using energy efficient techniques, energy efficient devices, and another is adopting housekeeping measures. Now, the reasons for increased emphasis on this energy conservation. Why we are emphasizing more on energy conservation? It is because energy saved is like energy generated. Either we conserve energy or add more capacity to meet the demand. Obviously, the first choice is more cost effective. It will definitely cost less to save 100 units of electricity than to generate 100 units in a power plant. Why? Because the energy conservation is environmental friendly. It is using less energy, that is, it is using it efficiently. Less energy use means less pollution, because when we are generating energy, obviously there is some kind of pollution, either it is air pollution, water pollution. So when we are conserving energy, the pollution is reduced, thermal pollution is less, and global warming is also reduced. So the conservation measures could be applied quickly as compared to adding additional capacity. It usually takes 5 to 7 years to build a thermal power plant. Good housekeeping measures could begin immediately, whereas short-term and medium-term measures may take about a year to pay back the entire investment. These energy conservation measures are classified in three categories: short-term, medium-term, and long-term. In short term, what we do these simple housekeeping measures where we could avoid the wastage. It could take very few hours or few days. In medium term, we took the measures that take some additional cost and are applicable within a month. And in long term, we give more investment, and these long term energy conservation measures will give us more payback also, and these could take, the installment of these could take even years. So the conservation of fuels is very important because of their use as raw material in many industries, in addition to their use as fuels in power generation. Most importantly, every human being can be an instrument of energy conservation because conservation measures can be adopted by each and every individual. If we talk about examples of short-term, medium-term, and long-term energy conservation measures, then the examples are: for short-term, we could change the ballast of the fan, we could replace the incandescent bulbs with CFD or LED. If we go for the medium term measures, we could use waste heat recovery cogeneration plants, which would take few hours or few days. Then if we go for the long term investment, it is like we are switching over solar PV modules. We are going to generate electricity by solar PV modules. So this is a long-term energy conservation measure. Then the identification of energy conservation measures. In its simplest form, energy conservation measure means any modification in any energy using installation for reducing energy consumption and operating cost without affecting the basic purpose of the installation. We must remember that 1 watt of electricity saved at the user's end is more than 1.5 watts generated at the generating end. If, however, transmission and distribution losses are also considered, then this saving would be about 2.2 watts. So conserving energy is better than generating. If as a nation we save 1 megawatt for future generation capacity, then this amounts to saving of about 5 to 6 crores of rupees, some of which may be foreign exchange as well. Saving of about 17 metric tons of coal per day per megawatt, and simultaneously protecting our environment by avoiding coal dust, sulfur dioxide and other harmful emissions. We are saving energy which is required in mixing, transporting and storing the coal as well. The possible energy conservation measures may be in the following areas. First is energy substitution. We have to identify an appropriate energy source for efficient energy conservation. For example, the solar water heaters could be used to heat feed water to the boiler. Energy generation. Next is energy generation. Identifying the opportunities of energy efficiency in energy conversion equipment or utility. Some of these areas where the possibility exists are steam generation in boiler, optimal loading of DG sets, minimum excess air combustion with boilers, optimizing existing efficiencies, efficient energy conversion equipment, and we could go for the biomass gasifiers as well. After it comes the energy distribution. We should identify the opportunities of energy efficiency in the energy distribution network, such as transformers, power factor improvement in electrical systems and chilled water, cooling water, hot water, compressed air, etc. Energy usage by process. This is the area where major opportunities for improvement exist. The key is to identify energy losses in the system. The easiest way to identify energy loss area is to conduct energy and mass balance and then to develop a diagram to show all the associated losses. We call this diagram as Sankey diagram. The areas having relatively large losses should be attempted first. Then comes the energy conservation measures in buildings. Let us consider energy conservation measures in a building and imagine that you have conducted an energy audit of a government building which is consuming high energy in heating and air conditioning. What would be the possible energy conservation? Energy conservation areas, they are improving insulation level for stopping leakages of hot and cold air. Then there is scope to improve windows and doors. We could improve it by installation of automatic energy control systems. We could also improve heating and air conditioning system. Then there is a scope to improve or replace lighting fixtures by energy efficient fixtures. Then comes the energy conservation measures in motors. We have seen that in industries, motors are often underloaded. We need to measure the details of the motors like kilowatt or horsepower rating, voltage, current, power factor at full load, as well as the nameplate data, and then work out motor loading. Then comes the energy conservation measures in the transportation sector. We cannot imagine life today without means of transport, be it a bullock cart or boat, bicycle or car. It is not possible to move goods and other essential items without means of transport. Over the years, more and more people have moved from the traditional system of transport to the mechanized ones, that is car, scooter, bus, truck, etc. These modes of transport have till recently been running on fossil fuels. These are not only burning out a non-renewable source of energy, but also causing a great deal of pollution. Therefore, The need of the hour is conservation of energy in the transportation sector. Individual owners of vehicles as well as the transporters have to be sensitized to the need to conserve energy, to protect the environment, and to make their systems more cost effective. There are a number of rules to be followed for the conservation of energy in terms of fuel in the transport sector. Some of them are: we have to avoid wasteful driving. We have to plan travel in such a manner that will curtail wasteful driving. We have to use public transport. Wherever possible and convenient, use public transport instead of using personal transport. We have to choose the right means of transport. For example, we have to use the scooter when only 2 persons have to travel, and the car if more persons have to travel, or if we have to carry heavy luggage. Carpooling should be given preference to go to workplaces and is a very effective means of conserving fuel. Then we have to follow traffic signals. Following traffic signals will help avoid traffic jams that lead to a great deal of wastage of fuel. We have to avoid idling of the vehicle. As far as possible, the vehicle, be it car, scooter or any other mechanized transport. Regular servicing and tuning of the vehicle makes it more efficient and thereby helps in fuel conservation and emission control as well. So maintenance of our vehicle is equally important. We have to check the emission control. The vehicle should be checked for emission control regularly because it leads to fuel conservation and pollution control. We have to switch over alternative fuels. We have to promote and use the alternative fuels such as bio-CNG, biodiesel and ethanol. Then comes the energy conservation measures in industrial sectors. The industrial sector uses about 50% of the total commercial energy available in India. Of the commercial sources of energy, coal, lignite and oil and natural gas are mainly used. The Indian industrial sector is highly energy intensive, but its energy efficiency is far below that of other industrialized countries. There is considerable scope for improving energy efficiency in all kinds of industries, mainly dealing with iron and steel, chemicals, cement, pulp and paper, fertilizers, textiles, etc. If such industries can promote energy conservation, it could lead to substantial reduction in their cost of production. Energy management is very important as all well-planned actions can help reduce an organization's energy bills and minimize the damage it does to the environment. The two main energy management strategies are conservation and efficiency. This requires the establishment of a system of collection, analysis and reporting on the organization's energy consumption and cost. If we talk about the conservation initiatives, some options are: if we do or we implement waste heat recovery systems, we go for the cogeneration, that is simultaneous generation of power and heat, utilization of alternative sources of energy, and technology upgradation, modernization, and the introduction of control instrumentation. To motivate the industrial sector to take up energy conservation seriously, the government has from time to time introduced financial incentives such as cut on import duty for specific items, cogeneration systems, power factor correcting devices, and specialized boilers and furnaces. The coal industry is both a source of energy and a consumer of energy. Energy can be conserved in both these areas. Coal reserves can be conserved through proper methods of exploration, improved recovery, and introduction of new mining technologies. Now we have seen that where we could conserve the energy, how we could conserve the energy, why the conservation of energy is important, and what we really mean by the energy conservation. Let us summarize whatever we have discussed in this particular module. Energy conservation measures in various sectors have been discussed. The installation of air curtains to reduce infiltration losses, use of an heat pipe for cooling incoming fresh air, replacing of existing fan with a FRP fan and lower HP motor. We have discussed it, that how we are going to conserve energy in a printing press. We have discussed the short-term, long-term and medium-term energy conservation. We have also analyzed in printing press that there should be a provision of periodic flue gas analysis or control or fine-tuning the primary air for combustion, which is a useful energy conservation measure. We have also seen the opportunities of energy conservation exist wherever energy is being used. The backbone of any energy conservation program is energy audit. It means that first we have to list out that where energy is going to be used, how much energy is wasted, how much we are giving in input. We have to make a balance sheet of all of them. Then accordingly we have to find out the areas where we could minimize the waste, and these minimization of these waste could be considered as the energy conservation measure. In order to conserve energy, we have to use efficient devices. Energy saved is like energy generated, we have discussed. It usually takes 5 to 7 years to build a thermal power plant, but to generate it takes only few seconds. By good housekeeping measures we could begin immediately, and these are the short term. And when we go for the medium term or long term investment, it will take a year to pay back the entire investment, whereas in short term we are not going to invest any amount. Start with the energy conservation in our home. If we as a person we are going to conserve even a single unit per month, which will help us, and it is better to generate more amount of energy. It is better to conserve energy rather than generating more amount of energy. Thank you very much.